I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome to Great Mother
Hi,
Speaks
everybody.
to
I know
us
it's been a while,
in
but
raw,
I have
realistic,
really
and
missed
righteousness.
you. I hope everybody's doing
Great
well
Mother speaks
and that this eclipse season is just blessing you, blessing you, blessing you. If you don't feel that it is, these readings are for you. Now, of course, with eclipses, they are relevant for 6 to 18 months during the eclipse period. And, I tell you that if you really want to keep up with what Great Mother is doing, you need to go to mamadramatrauma.info. That's where I've been spending most of my time with the support group and the deck that's coming out. And remember, Great Mother created this deck for us to heal. It's a process. Everybody has their own process. I know I've been living in loving detachment from my mother for 13 years. And this eclipse brought up so much for me still. It takes a while. And so the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck has been having classes. We've been having support groups online and in my community. And so it's been awesome. So I'll get videos up when I can. Great Mother inspired me to share these videos with you. But before I do, what came up for me is that even after 13 years of working with my divinity identity, of being a dearly loved child of the Great Mother Father God. Now say it with me, those of you who've been watching for a while. And those of you who haven't, this channel is Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck that is designed for people with mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unwilling, unable, and unavailable to heal her own trauma, because it is a cycle, in order for the child to be healed, she must or he must learn to live in loving detachment. Okay? Accepting the mother that we have, letting go of the mother that we want so we can accept the one we have. That's when we know that we're healed from MDT. But sometimes even when we're healed from things, we can have little, things that come up. You may have had a hip surgery and you're fine, you can walk, your hip's not broken anymore, but every once in a while when it rains, it might get sore. We're triggered as well. And eclipses have a tendency to do that because they're all about balance. They occur to balance the Earth's biosphere, the animal kingdom, our waters, our internal waters were made up of at least 70 to 80% water. It's a balancing mechanism that Great Mother Father God have for us to sustain life on this planet. Things get out of balance, right? And so it happens internally as well. Everything starts from spirit before it's manifested in physical form. So the moon and the sun do their thing. And so, long story short, with what happened to me, starting with the new moon, what came up for me, and this is what the solar eclipses, it always happens in the new moon. Solar eclipses reveal to you inner wisdom that we have been denying, we've been ignoring, we've been minimizing, that we haven't prioritized for whatever reason. There's no judgment, no condemnation, no tea, no shade, but it's something important that we have not looked at. Okay? And so that's what solar eclipses do. They bring up what needs to be brought up for us to acknowledge for our highest good. And then they're followed with the lunar eclipse that is all about who we truly are. So we have the solar eclipse, it's about who we think we are, but then the solar eclipse really shows us what we really need to know that's going on with who we are. And then the lunar eclipse is telling us what needs to be released in order for us to fulfill our true identity, in order for us to fulfill who our soul is. So what came up for me during the solar eclipse was that I needed to pay attention to how I was communicating to people. I needed to really pay attention to my perception of what people were saying to me and how I was interpreting conversations, because I was just really getting short and really getting irritated a lot with people and feeling like I knew what they meant and this and whatever, and really getting triggered with a whole bunch of MDT, getting deep into that. And so I knew it was out of balance, but then when the solar eclipse came, it confirmed it. You need to pay attention to that. So in the interim since then, what this lunar eclipse has shown me, and I'll just give you an illustration. Me and my man went to the movies this past weekend. We went to go see that movie Crawl. It is crazy. Live in Florida. Had to see it. It's a good movie though. I didn't think it was going to be good, but it is. And has a lot of spiritual connotations. I wasn't expecting that. We were driving in the car and we were talking about a guest visiting, as we often have in Florida, and going back and forth about what we're going to do and everything when they came. And we were driving up to the theater or whatever like that, and he was like, okay, we're in the present now. We're in the present. We need to be in the present, so let's go. And I was like, what? You the one brought up the conversation about planning for the future. Now you're going to tell me, it's, you need to be in the present, like that, because I'm always telling him that. And so I thought he was bringing it back on me. And I snapped. And he looked at me like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Come on, let's go to the movie. We're in the present. And it came to me like that from Great Mother. That's what I meant, Tammy. That's what I meant. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that no more to people, because it's hurting you more. You see, he wasn't even paying no attention to what you're tripping on. But you were feeling so angry and so upset because you were interpreting it as judgment and condemnation. Like he's judging you for not being in the present, because that's what you was doing when you were telling him to be in the present. Girl, stop. You don't know what people are chilling. They're not coming at you like that. You coming at them like that. Stop. So, Great Mother is so merciful. It's so graceful. And I'm so grateful because that has taken such a load off my shoulders. Just not carrying that weight around of knowing what everybody's thinking. Anyway, Great Mother wanted me to share that with you because living and loving detachment is a process, and loving detachment is accepting what is. And what is what is. It is what we think it is in the moment, in the time. And we have to work with where we are. And so over 13 years, I've been in many places with accepting what is, accepting that my mother was an alcoholic, accepting that she didn't want to have a relationship with me, accepting that she couldn't accept me for who I am, accepting that, she judged me and condemned me for doing the voodoo, talking to Great Mother, accepting, it's a long journey of accepting what is. And this eclipse came up, and they normally come up during eclipses, by the way. Accept the fact that you are allowing yourself to be triggered by that judgment and condemnation from MDT, that blame. You're triggering yourself, girlfriend. Stop it. You've been conditioned to do that, but you don't have to keep on doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's keeping you from enjoying your life. And I needed to bring that to your attention so that you can get in alignment with who you are. You are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. Okay? So this reading for each of you, we're going to look at what the solar eclipse brought up for you, your moon sign. And check your moon sign calculator below. I know some of you watch based on your Western moon sign, but it is a 24-degree different with the Vedic in 24 degrees precession. So, for example, I am Gemini moon in the Western and Taurus moon in the Vedic because of the 24-degree difference. And it does make a difference if you really do intuit very strongly. The Jyotish is going to, in many cases, be more appropriate for you, but not necessarily, because there are obviously other aspects to your chart. So, with no further ado, I want you to realize that this reading will show you what came up for you and who you truly are in relationship to Great Mother's support of you at this time moving forward. The entire cosmos is supporting us uniquely and individually in ways that we cannot imagine. But through Great Mother Speaks, we'll have an idea. Come over to Mama Drama Trauma and join us. There's some very affordable classes. The new deck is going to be coming out, so you can pre-order, get into the tutorial so that you can do your own readings to gauge your own process. Thanks for watching. Okay, Leo in the 5th house with the Sagittarius full moon. It's a partial lunar eclipse, but never mind. You can feel how powerful these energies are. And so what we have coming up for you as of the solar eclipse on July 2nd was a real internal sense that you were being guided, you were being protected, you were being completely loved and adored by the angels to live in loving detachment. Living in loving detachment is the hallmark of being healed from Mama Drama Trauma. Now, this is a process, and so we have phases of healing, like we have phases of the moon. We have chakra frequencies of healing, like we have chakra meridian points in our body, mind. The angels came up for you in a real sense of protection, love, nurturing, guidance, and you really, really felt that, Leo moon sign people. It was really, really good feeling for you in terms of who you think you are. You do think that you are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother Father God, which is not surprising for Leo moon sign people. And so lining who you think you are up with who you are, this lunar eclipse has to do with the victim card. And so Great Mother is not saying here that who you truly are is a victim, but what she is saying is that who you truly are is someone who can create their reality. Therefore, since you are truly guided and protected, you have the power to create your reality. And so this is probably what's making your spine stand up straight, is the realization of this at this particular time. Not again in the typical Leo way that you take life by the horns and you do as you feel and you move and operate in the world in a very intuitive way, but in the sense of creating your world from a conscious space of healing. You are healing from a condition of projection of pain. And there can oftentimes be a tendency to avoid the reality of that. So this eclipse season is encouraging you to fully take that sense of protection and love that your angels, guides, and ancestors are giving you to live in loving detachment from that pain. Not to avoid the pain, but to recognize it and to realize that it is an inspiration for your life moving forward. Not to kind of skip that part, but that part right there being what this eclipse is about for you. In your shadow of all of this going on is a tendency to want to act very quickly again on that intuition, that intuitive process that you have that is just very enthusiastic, creative, and all of those things, but without the sense of creating from the abandonment, from the abuse, from the shame, from the blame, from the guilt. That disconnect is going to cost you in terms of creativity. There are a lot of gems within that experience of Mama Drama Trauma, and particularly for you, that you can help us be a little bit more humorous about, that you can connect with us in being a little bit more lighthearted about. And we need to hear that from Leo moon sign people. We need to see that from you. Hiding it you can do very well because you have so much protection, but the support that's available to you is to process. We have the double yang symbol, which is the gut chakra ruled by Mars, and Mars in Gemini is what kicked off the season May and June actually. And so that processing of that emotion is so important, and you can help us do it by your example if you would recognize that this is an emotion that you have, and working through that processing of that emotion, contributing to your creativity, is going to emancipate you. And by emancipating you, you're going to emancipate us. Free yourself, and you will free us. And that is really what so many of us are needing with MDT right now. We're needing to see a lot of examples of people who have it and are free, and are able to still be loving and still be helpful and healthful and carefree and forgiving and compassionate. So don't underestimate that as a real tool of liberation, not just for yourself but for others, because there's a lot of support in helping you bring all this together this full moon. Now, this full moon in Sagittarius is really telling you that the faith that you have had since this realization that you are supported by your angels and your guides and your ancestors will carry you through whatever doubts you have about being able to embrace the shadow side of MDT and own it. Things are coming together for you during this eclipse. And how we know that is because energetically you are able to face the challenge. You are at a point now that you've done this internal work, that you have felt the sense of love and guidance and support, that you can face this challenge. You can recognize the past and call it what it is, and do so in a creative way as you transition toward the future. You can do that. You have the ability to do that with this energy, and it being fifth house energy and you being the traditional fifth house really emphasizes that you can do that. Now, you want to be rewarded for doing all of this work, and Great Mother's telling you how. She's telling you how. She's telling you that by processing your own emotions about it and sharing it with people in a way that emancipates them and lets us know and confirms for us that we too are guided and protected. But you can show us, Leo moon sign people. You can show us, but you're going to have to get in touch with those emotions of being the victim of MDT and turn them on their head. Turn those concepts of shame and blame, to turn it on its head, and you will be rewarded as you share your insights with us. And I would be interested for you to post the insight that you have on this video about that, Leo moon sign people, because this is a very powerful message from Great Mother for you. I'd like to see what you have to say, because why your soul wants to do this work is, you're just ready. You are ready to live your destiny. And for those of you who are listening to Great Mother right now, your destiny is to do exactly what she's suggesting that you do right now, in receiving the support from the celestial frequencies to be a creative regenerator of toxic energy in ways that people who share the MDT experience can relate to. This is androgyne. This is the single yin, double yang energy. That's all about acting on your emotions in a way that consciously realizes that you have a destiny to do it, and you're making the free will choice to align with that. And so there you have it for your solar eclipse of who you really are. Who you think you are is this creative, loving, protected being. And who you truly are is that being that is called to share that confidence, called to share that creativity, that procreative energy with the rest of the MDT world, so that we can see a model of how to do it in a joyful, playful, creative, and loving way. If you do that, The outcome between now and the next eclipse, December 26th, is really going to be about ego manifestation, and that is all about the purpose for your incarnation. So for those of you who are watching, the purpose, one of your primary purposes for incarnating, dealing with fifth house energy, is your native lunar house, and this eclipse happening in your fifth lunar house is emphasizing not only the creativity, but 5 and 5 is 10, a new door for many of you to recognize that your ability to do what Great Mother has suggested you do is part of the reason for you existing at this particular time in human history. So join the community, come on, and become a member at mamadramatrauma.info, where we have our MDT support groups. We love to hear from you. You could get a reading there. You can get the deck and learn how to do readings and put your own spin on it. It's very, very affordable, and that's because I couldn't do this without you, and Great Mother has brought this through for you. So enjoy your eclipse season.
Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon,